to you from my kitchen here, from the Circle of Life kitchen. Well, actually, this is my kitchen. Circle of Life Catering with North Suburban Synagogue, Beth, and welcome to my kitchen. I'm bringing you this class today because I want to help you get through this kind of crazy, trying time that we're all working with, and we're learning to work with your pantry staples. So I hope as you come online, you'll give some thumbs up and some hearts and ask any of your kitchen questions regarding pantry cooking, regarding challah, anything you have a question with. And as we get closer to Passover, hopefully we'll do a Passover class and talk about how to get through that holiday as well. So welcome to my kitchen, and let's get started.
Say hi to Abby. We have Abby on the
Abby,
line.
hi.
And people are just now starting to join, so you have 4 viewers.
Okay,
So
and my husband is my cameraman. We have done this before when I worked for a media company, and it's a lot of fun. So welcome to my kitchen, everyone. And I'm gonna get started. One of my favorite dishes to make is shakshuka. If you're new to shakshuka, or if you're an old pro with shakshuka, I think you'll agree that it's one of the greatest dishes in terms of substitutions. You kind of like do a refrigerator clean out. Whatever you've got in there is what can go in this dish. And at the heart of it are eggs, which is a great pantry ingredient, and I'm sure it's something that everyone's got in their home right now. It's a great dish to cook for a lot of people. You can do a whole pile of it and then just serve it right in the pan, as well as just for yourself if you're cooking for one. So let's get started. I want to show you my setup today and how chefs do a setup in their kitchens. I've got all my ingredients mise en place, which means everything in place, ready to go here. And this is for shakshuka number 1. We're going to do 2 shakshukas today. So this is number 1, and let's get started. So I've got pretty much everything ready to go. I'm going to show you how I like to cut red peppers. I kind of just come in here and go down. And you can see the pepper's a little bit wonky on the inside there. And that's gonna happen right now with some of the produce that we're getting. We don't have as much.
Clara Berman says hi.
Hi, how are you? Ask questions as you think of them regarding this dish or anything else. This dish, I'm using I've got some fresh tomatoes, not a lot. And again, this is pantry cooking, and in a different kind of a class, we would talk about very specific ingredients, but because we're kind of working with what we've got on hand, this is the way it is. So I'm gonna cut a couple of tomatoes. I've got like a couple precious few tomatoes here just for some freshness. And then I'm gonna move this all over here and bring it over to where I saute. Come back here, don't go away. All right. So come with me over here. And when you're sauteing, you want to have everything you need with you right here. I've got my salt here, and I've got a couple of different kinds of salt. I use a sea salt. I also have another kind of sea salt, and I've got my chili flakes, because I love chili flakes. A little bit of heat goes a long way. And I've got pepper. I've got a lot of extra virgin olive oil because we're in for a marathon. And I've got my pan ready to go. I'm going to add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil to the pan, and the pan's already heating up a little bit. You can see it's already hot. And you know your pan is hot when you can see the oil start to shimmer at the bottom of it. So I'm going to add my onions, my peppers, and I'm going to let this just cook for a few minutes. And it's got my tomatoes as well. And then this is just going to cook down. And I'm going to start my other shakshuka in this pan. So I've got another pan here with all of my ingredients to make what's called a green shakshuka. So the green shakshuka uses everything green. If you don't like a tomatoey one, you don't have to do the tomatoes. Instead, we're going to do everything green. So I've got, instead of an onion, we're going to do leeks, we're going to do scallion, and then we're going to do these greens instead of tomatoes. So back over to the board. And this time I'm going to use a poblano pepper. If you don't have it, it doesn't matter. Use green peppers. I happen to love poblanos, so I always have like a lot of them in my refrigerator. I love the flavor. It gives a gentle heat, not a ton of heat, but I love them. And then I have a jalapeno. Jalapenos can vary a lot with their heat. This one we don't know about yet, so I'm only going to add a tiny bit of it. This time of year, they're typically not too spicy. In the summer, they can get crazy. But we're going to add just a little bit, just to taste. You can absolutely leave this out if you don't like it. But usually the dish, shakshuka, is, as you know, if you've been to Israel and have had it there, it's very fiery.
Dina Cooperman says yum.
Dina! Says what?
Yum.
Yum. Hi Dina, how are you?
Got a heart out there.
Yes, hearts and thumbs up. And I've got my leek going here. So this is the green shakshuka. And I'm using some scallions. Again, if you don't have it, just use an onion, whatever you've got on hand. This is pantry cooking, and it's kind of learning to get by with what you have, which I think is kind of a positive thing here. Because some of us are just real reliant on a recipe, or I know people won't make something if they don't have one ingredient. This one, go ahead and make it. And we've got, so for this green shakshuka, I've got Swiss chard and kale. If you don't have this, but you have frozen spinach, use frozen spinach. In fact, later on in the week, I'm going to be into frozen spinach. This is like the end of my Swiss chard. I'm just giving everything a rough chop here. All right, so all this goes in the bowl, and then we can start the green shakshuka. Back over. So I've got olive oil going into that pan as well. In the meantime, got my peppers going here. They're starting to get nice and soft. And then once my oil is nice and warm and hot in the other pan, I'll add the other ingredients to the other shakshuka. So we have dueling shakshukas going on here. And the green one is kind of like a cross between a cream spinach or an egg Florentine, which is always with spinach. But instead of spinach, I'm just using Swiss chard because it's what I've got, and a little bit of kale.
Which brand of EVOO?
So this is my extra virgin olive oil that I use. As you can see, I always... Right?
Shh. All right, we're live again.
So I don't know why we're having so many internet problems. Something's here in Skokie. I have no idea. So I'm just chopping my garlic.
Can somebody please say we hear you as a comment?
Dina, Abby, do you hear us? I would think if they didn't hear us, they would say something. Anybody?
Yep, I've got a thumbs up. So thank you for the thumbs up.
All right, I've got my garlic chopped up.
All right, we hear you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're on the move again.
Now we're done moving. So I'm adding my garlic to my first pan. And the garlic goes in last. You don't want to burn it. And now I'm adding this wonderful mix here for my green shakshuka.
Any questions out in the audience? Steve Robinson says you have a great chopping technique.
Thanks, Steve. How are you? So one thing that chefs like to do is season as you go. So I've got my veggies going here in this pan. I'm going to take a little bit of sea salt and season as I go in that pan, and then I'm going to season up this pan as well. If I try to wait to the end to get all my seasoning in, I'm not going to hit it, and you end up putting more salt on at the table. This way I should arrive at the table with the dish completely, perfectly seasoned.
So a question, do you ever use the kosher frozen minced garlic?
So again, this is pantry cooking. If that's what you have, then that's what you're going to use. Garlic is one of those things that I like to use fresh whenever I have the chance. But again, we're pantry cooking. You got to do what you got to do.
People are asking for an ingredient list.
So the email went out for ingredient lists from Abby. It came in your Friday email at about 3 o'clock, right, Abby? Was it 3 o'clock?
We lost the connection during part of the red shakshuka. What did you put in aside from the red pepper and the garlic?
So inside, in this pan, I've got shallots, red pepper, just a couple of little fresh tomatoes, and that's it, and salt and pepper. And in the green shakshuka, I've got my greens cooking down with my pepper, my leeks, and I'm not ready to add my garlic yet.
Some people did not get the ingredient email, so
we'll send you the recipes. Just watch the technique so you know how to do it. So this now, you can see all these veggies are nice and soft. They're nice and soft. They're beginning to caramelize to turn lightly brown. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat down a little bit so I don't spray myself with it. And I'm going to add, this is the shakshuka part. So I'm going to add cumin and coriander. If you don't love cumin and coriander, you can leave them out, but this really is the part that makes the dish the dish. This is my spin on it. I love caraway seeds. I love the flavor of caraway. It's toasty, it's warm, it's like rye. So I'm adding a little bit of caraway seeds. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. And then this just gets coated on the veggies, and it toasts it a little bit in the pan.
Marla Goldberg says, you're the best.
Marla, I haven't seen you in like forever. How are you?
Steve says it smells great, but we don't have smell-o-vision here.
Thanks, Steve. All right, so both pans are looking great. So I'm going to go ahead and add my tomatoes to this pan. And let this just sit for a second. And then this pan is going along nicely. So in my green pan, I'm just going to add now my cumin to my green pan as well. And my caraway. Again, if you don't love those flavors, leave them out. And my garlic. So the garlic goes in last so you don't burn it. You don't want to burn your garlic, ever. You can see this is starting to cook down and look really pretty. And then here's the cream spinach part and why I love this dish. I love the red one, but I really love the green one. Where I'm going to get this to be nice and creamy, I'm going to actually add a little bit of cream to it. And a little tiny bit of yogurt. You can add sour cream. You can add...
How many servings do these recipes make?
So the recipes that you have or will have sent to you feed about 5 to 6 people. So look how creamy and yummy this looks.
Someone's jealous of me because I get to eat this stuff.
Yes, you eat well.
This is like one serving.
Right? Mike and I are going to fight over these pans later. All right, so this is going along. So now the red shakshuka looks great. And all I'm going to do is take the back of a spoon.
Steve wants to come for dinner. So
Yeah, yeah, in a few months, Steve. And I'm going to crack my eggs into a bowl. And I make a little indentation or well here in the pan and put the egg right in it. Same thing on this one. Come here, you.
Do you worry about your spoons melting when you leave them on the pan?
My spoon?
Like this one.
It's, no, it's silicone. I do not. Okay. So that's going along. And I'm going to salt the eggs now a little bit. And a little bit of fresh cracked pepper. And the green one is going along as well. I'm going to let that go a few minutes, another minute or two, while we put this one in the oven. So here's where the versatility of this dish comes from. So at this point, the dish is par. I can go any direction I want. If I've got like meat lovers in my household, I can have like ground meat or ground lamb cooked in a bowl and then spoon it over. If I want to make this for dinner, something other than brunch, I can serve it over a bowl of grains or cooked chickpeas or something that's a little heartier. But I like it just like this.
Can you do more than 3 eggs?
It's for us eating it. It's just for us. For you, add a whole pile of eggs. But for my husband and I, we're going to fight over each of these pans. So I'm adding a little bit.
Is the green just spinach?
No. I'm going to tell you what it is. I'll review in one sec here. In my green pan, I've got spinach. I've got a poblano or a green pepper, leeks, some scallions, and a little bit of Swiss chard. If you don't have Swiss chard, again, don't worry about it. But see how it's getting like nice and creamy? It's almost like cream spinach. I love this. So I've got a little bit of feta cheese that I'm just crumbling here on top for this. And now this is going to go in the oven at 375, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Back to this one. So our green one is going along nicely, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to make a little well, little indentation there, crack an egg, right in there. Another egg. So yeah, if you've got a large group of people in your house, or if you're feeding a crowd, go ahead and crack as many eggs as you want in here. Just keep making a little space for it. But for the two of us, as I said, Mike and I are going to fight over which pan we get. And in that goes. And then I'm going to season the eggs. Don't forget to season your eggs. A little bit of salt and some fresh cracked pepper. So this one, I've already got a little bit of cream and a little bit of yogurt in it. Again, I'm going to hit it with some feta cheese, but you don't have to use feta. You can use whatever works for you, whatever you've got in your house. I happen to have some feta. I almost always have feta in the house. It's one of my favorite cheeses. And then, because we're going green, I've got some fresh dill that I'm just going to put on top. How about some thumbs up for dill, guys? Yay, dill.
How do you know when the white part of the egg is cooked,
You'll see it, and I'm going to show you in a second here.
but the yolk is still runny?
Yeah, that's the tricky part. So you can kind of tap it on the top, and I'll show you when we're done what that looks like. So just hang out here with this for a second. And I'm going to garnish this with a tiny bit of za'atar, which a lot of us have in our homes, because we're going all green here, and a tiny bit of sumac. So if you've never cooked with sumac, this is what it looks like. It's actually the sumac bark from a tree, not the berries, and it tastes like tart, almost lemony tart. It's almost like the equivalent of adding dried cranberries to something. It's got that kind of tartness, which is just wonderful, and it wakes up the whole dish. So I'm going to add a tiny bit of that to our dish here. And doesn't this look pretty?
Can I put a scan pan in the oven?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can put it.
And then it said, if not, do I just cover it with a lid on the stove?
Well, you can cook this on the stove. I'm putting it in the oven. You can finish it off on the stove, and it'll take about 10 minutes at medium high. We're going to put this one in the oven. And I'm going to show you how this one is almost set already. I can pull this out. And you can see that the eggs are setting up nicely. And the white is starting to set up here and the yolk is still liquidy. So this is just going to keep going for a second. So while we're sitting here, when you're measuring out your ingredients, you want to have everything ready for you to go so that you're not like hunting and pecking. If you don't love cooking, this is a chance and a time to kind of make it count. You're cooking for yourself and for people you love. Literally, we're all kind of in this together. And in your homes, with this all being quarantined and locked down, you're really cooking for everyone you love. So I've got everything here ready, and this is how I make every single meal, especially when you're baking. And I hope that next week we'll talk about baking for Passover. We'll do a couple of chocolate Passover ingredients. In the meantime, I've got one of my favorite pieces of equipment here that I wanted to show you how to take care of your knives. With every knife comes this. And this is not a sharpening stone. What it is it's a honing rod. And what you do is you take your knife and you put it at about a 20-degree angle, and you just bring it across like this and back and forth. So we're all a little bit challenged right now. I like to get my knives sharpened all the time. Knife sharpener's closed. I thought it was essential, apparently not. So I'm going to be sharpening my own knives, and I just keep bringing my knife across like this. So if this is a 90-degree angle, this is about a 40-degree angle, this is a 20. A 20-degree angle back and forth. And what this does is it takes off any burrs or any kind of like things that are keeping the knife from cutting nicely and sharply. Sometimes your knife gets slowed down and it doesn't cut as well because it's not sharp. So this is what this is for.
Say hi to your mom.
Hi, Mom. You got it on. Woo! This is one thing you want to do to keep your knife nice and sharp. In our cocktail shaker here for my husband, we have a quarantini. Yes, it's a quarantini. And what I've got in here is just a little bit of vodka and a little bit of fresh citrus juices. I'm going to add a tiny bit of ice and some simple syrup. And I can send this recipe out too. No quarantini is complete without a martini glass. And you get to have this. The cameraman gets the drink.
Hearts. Yay.
Yay, somebody likes the drink. Here we go. That's your quarantini.
Delicious. Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome. All right.
Lots of hearts coming.
Yay, that one we liked. So here's what your shakshuka. This is our red shakshuka, and it's really almost there. Our whites are almost completely set. I'm going to add a little bit of garnish to it, some green onions.
L'chaim.
That's for your drink.
Do we send you our emails?
Yes, you can send me your email. If you're from the synagogue, it's lfrankel@nssbethel.org. If you're, well, or just send it there anyways. I've got some za'atar on here now, and a little bit of sumac. And then this is like my twist with it because I love tahini. This is like one of my favorite things to eat. And I'm just gonna drizzle a tiny bit over this because it just adds like this luscious richness to it. And I will portion this up so you can see what it looks like. Mike, you're the happy recipient.
Yay.
You just want to come in here, and again, remember, you could serve this with grains, you could serve this with some crusty bread, you could serve it with, if you want to do this parve with no cheese on it and stuff, you could easily serve this with crumbled lamb. Or with
Moshe Berger says, in Israel, we don't put tahini.
I know, but I love it. I said it was my twist. All right, so here you go. Here it is, and here's the yolk is still liquidy. Ta-da! Delicious. And that's our red shakshuka. Let's check the green. Yep, the green is done. And you can see how fast this goes in the oven. The green one looks delicious. Tons of herbs, all green. If you don't love tomatoes, this is literally kind of like somewhere between cream spinach and Shakshuka primavera. I'm going with the Italian theme on this. And this is the way we're eating this tonight. We're doing halvesies. Halvesies in your bowl. You want some of this good stuff. And again, we got the red shakshuka here, the green one there, and the yolk is lovely.
So the email with the recipes was posted on the Facebook site now, so they can check that after the show.
Thank you, Abby. Take care, everybody, and tune in again. This is Chef Laura from Circle of Life Catering at North Suburban Synagogue, Bethel. Enjoy your shakshuka, and thank you for coming to my quarantine kitchen. Take care.